Aloha, I'm Lyla Berg. Mahalo for tuning in to Island Focus for our holiday special. It gives me great pleasure to share the magic and wonder of the ukulele in Hawaii. So sit back and relax, enjoy our guests and mele in Ō'lelo's Studio 1122. Thank you for being with us today, Chris.
Thank
you know,
for
it's
having
really
me.
so special that you would be here on this program to talk about the ukulele and its place in Hawaii's history. Your grandfather started the business.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how that happened?
He was a musician, you know, and he just enjoyed playing and was really intrigued just by the little instrument. And he kind of started building instruments for the family in his garage in Kamaka. And it was more of the pineapple shape. You know, he actually started the pineapple shaped ukulele. But, you know, all of my aunts and uncles were musicians, and they played it with the Royal Hawaiian Girls Glee Club, and he made ukuleles for them, and basically that's how it got started.
Well, you make it sound so easy, you know, that he just decided one day to start making ukuleles. How did that happen?
He was always good with his hands. You know, he was a farmer. He loved planting flowers and fruit trees on the properties. And just the instrument, I think him being a musician himself, he really enjoyed making music and creating happiness.
Which is what you continue to do in not only repairing and making ukuleles, but also promoting the ukulele as an instrument of expression.
Yes. Not only an instrument known worldwide, but it's part of our our heritage, our Hawaiian music. It just kind of goes hand in hand, with our culture.
How do you feel when you see someone on stage, like maybe Jake playing the ukulele, or even someone just starting to learn ukulele, but it's a kamaka?
Just really humbled, to see something that you've worked so hard to create. But when you see it being played by Jake, or even like you say, somebody just starting, it's just very, very humbling to see and to hear them playing it and what you work so hard to do, and it's just great to see.
And you grew up with ukuleles in your family, and just sort of matter of fact.
Yeah.
For some people, it's a little daunting to play any musical instrument. What thoughts might you have to share with parents or children who want to learn?
People say maybe that they don't have any ear for music, but with the ukulele, it's such a simple instrument. You can do a lot with just 1 or 2 chords, 3 chords, and eventually you'll be able to pick up a lot of songs with just a few chords.
Well, it might be easy for you to say it's not a hard instrument to learn, but sometimes with the 4 strings, as opposed, it's even more daunting, if you will, because it looks so simple.
True.
But there's so many variations.
Yeah.
How did you learn?
When family would come over to, for events at home, we would end up sitting around playing, and eventually we all would grab an instrument. There are 7 of us back, in our family. So,
do your children play?
All of my kids play a little bit. My youngest son, Christopher, is probably has his own little group too. So.
What's the most challenging part of making an ukulele?
Most challenging probably would be just maintain the consistency. Dad always told me that, just if you can maintain a consistent sound in our instruments, just stay true to your code, shouldn't have any problem.
You also have a deep encouragement to parents to inspire their children or motivate their children to play music.
No, exactly. And especially there are a lot of kids probably that don't have that mentoring, and they're looking, for something. And especially, like Jake, he does the same kind of thing, but, just try and give them something to hope for and to look forward to in life, because, life is so short,
and unpredictable.
And unpredictable. And just to have a little bit of happiness that, we can bring is just great.
What would you say to someone just starting out that might be frustrated in learning?
Gonna take some time, everything, a little practice will help. And if ever you do need help, just reach out.
Well, I would love to see more families engaged in activities with their children. Yeah. And as you said, in your family with 7, you picked up a ukulele and everyone just started playing. It's possible to even jam with an ukulele, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course. Even, my brother, Casey, he only picks up the ukulele once in a while. He's a great craftsman. When he picks it up, you can tell he really enjoys playing just what little he does.
So Kamaka ukulele is known worldwide, and everyone reveres it. They feel so privileged and honored to have a Kamaka ukulele. I have 2 at home. How does it make you feel knowing that your grandfather started this company and now there's a legacy?
Oh boy, yeah, it's we just celebrated 100 years in 2016, and I feel very honored to be, working with the business, and what makes it even more humbling and makes me really happy is that my son, well, I know he's interested in continuing the legacy. So the weight is kind of off my shoulders now, and it's nice to see the new generation, you know, coming in.
And what do you think Grandpa would say now?
I think he would be really happy. Yeah, and I wish I had a chance to meet him. I never did meet my grandfather. He passed before I came along, but I just hear stories about how nice of a man he was.
And if I would ask you a couple of words to describe the ukuleles that you make and that you offer to the public, what would those words be?
To have one of our ukuleles is a blessing to us, and for you to play it, we hope that you know, it'll bring a lot of happiness to you and your family as much as we had making it for them.
And as long as people keep playing the ukulele,
Exactly.
Kamaka will keep making ukuleles.
Exactly. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us today and
No, thank
giving
you.
us a little glimpse of how special this instrument really is to your family, but also to us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
so nice to see you again, Jake. It's been so many years since my son was your student. Thank you for being with us today.
No, thank you. It's an honor to be here. Great to see you. You look awesome. You don't age at all.
So from the time that my son was young to now, 20 years or so ago, you've become internationally famous, nationally known, and just loved locally. How did that all happen?
I have no idea. I just, you know, I started when I was 4 years old. My mom, she played the ukulele, sat me down, taught me a few chords, and I just fell in love with it, you know. But no one in my family ever thought that one day I would be performing and playing, because I was so shy growing up too. And you know, and on the show today, you know, you have like Sakuma, who was one of my teachers, you know, after my mom, you know, Kamaka. My first ukulele was a Kamaka ukulele because that's what my mom had when she was a teenager. So, and then you have Kimo Hasi, who was also a huge influence for me. So I feel like being here, I'm just, you know, my three mentors are all here today. So it's kind of a special, I don't know, it's an honor to really, truly an honor to be here. So it's really because of my mom and just the support of my family and just meeting good people, you know, along the way that kept me focused, gave me opportunities.
And when you're playing, you know, I mean, it's so you, but the audience is cheering, you know, I mean, you have a way of connecting with people because not only of how you play, but who you are. How has ukulele affected you that way?
Yeah, I got my first taste of performance, of performing when I was a student at Kamaka High School. The beginning of the school year assembly, there was a little talent portion, and each grade level had to select a representative. So, you know, as an incoming freshman, everyone's too shy, right, to go. But then someone knew that I played the ukulele, so they're like, "Oh, why don't you go do something?" I was like, "Oh no, I'm too shy." But I ended up going up, and I remember getting up on the stage in the gymnasium, and I played a song by Ota-san. And Ota-san was actually Sakuma's teacher, so I learned Ota-san's song through Sakuma, and it was a song called Body Surfing. So I went up on stage. And I remember at the time, I didn't even have those fancy plugins or anything like that, right? So the MC, who was the student body president, held the microphone in front of my ukulele. So I went up there, I'm so nervous. And I get up to the mic, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, you know, please welcome Jake Shimabukuro representing the freshman class." And everyone's like, "What is this guy doing?" Right? And I get up there and I start playing, and I'm too far from the mic so no one can hear. And people start talking, they're like, what, you know, can I hear? Can I, right? You know how they start yelling, right? Can I hear? Can I hear? Turn them up. Right? So anyways, I start playing, and then I start walking a little closer to the microphone. And as I did that, then you could hear the sound of the ukulele playing over the speakers, and it filled up the whole gymnasium, you know, because there's that acoustics, right? The resonance. And I just remember that entire gymnasium, I mean, it became a library. It was so quiet, and you could hear everything I was playing. And there was like a 10-second, just this moment of silence, and then people just went nuts. And they were like, "Wow!" You know, and that feeling, that rush, I mean, it really stirred something in me, and I just started to have this passion for performing in front of an audience. But I was still shy, but that rush that I got was, I mean, till this day, it's one of the most significant
Memories
experiences. Yeah, those memories. I can still go back and remember that feeling that I had, because it was the first time in my life that anyone applauded me like that for doing something, right?
Well, and my sense about that, and watching you over the years to grow and evolve, is that you're not performing, you're sharing who you are, you know? And when, regardless of the type of song you're playing, your whole energy, your life force comes out of that instrument. Do you feel that way too?
Oh yeah, I mean, I really believe in, you know, because you're an actor, right? So I really believe that when you play a song, even if you're an instrumentalist or any kind of performance, you have to transport yourself to that time, or you have to figure out a way to get yourself to feel, right, what it is that you're trying to express. And I remember as a kid, like one of my favorite singers was a singer named Vicky Carr. And I remember a performance of her getting up on stage singing Pen in Hand. And I mean, halfway through the show, halfway through the song, she's in tears, she's singing, her voice is just, I mean, by the end of the song, you're crying. I mean, you're like bawling your eyes out watching this performance, and you feel like she's just living that moment and going through that divorce, and and just you see her with the daughter and combing her hair and all that, and it's so heartbreaking. But so I've always remembered that, and it really stuck with me. So when I get up and I play a song, like say it's a song about losing a loved one, I'm gonna take myself back to a moment when I remember being with someone in the hospital who was on their deathbed, and just feeling that, taking myself back to that, and remember what the room smelled like, remember what I felt, remember like having my hand on her arm, and yeah.
So some advice that you might give to parents who may or may not be musically inclined about the value of music in children's lives. I know it's a deep question.
No, it's hard to measure how impactful music is on a person, right? But if you look at a lot of like very successful people in life, or people who have excelled in whatever field that they're doing, even if we think it's completely non-music related, most of the time they have played an instrument. They grew up learning some kind of instrument, or they played in orchestra, they played in band, because there's something about those experiences and going through that experience. You learn you learn how to interact with other people. You learn your role in a group. You learn what dedication and hard work is. You learn how to be so frustrated, but you just keep practicing, and you keep going, and then when you can do it and you're able to play it, that feeling that you get, right? It's addictive. So then you start applying that in everything, right, in your life. Like when you hit a wall, you're not just gonna, oh, it's too hard, I'm gonna give up. No, like learning an instrument or learning an art form, man, it teaches you grit, right? So you get out there and you're gonna work and work and work and work and be stubborn about it until you can do it. And once you can do it, that feeling.
And then you have the joy of success.
And that's where the joy comes from, right? Because it's that problem solving, like I'm up against this wall, but I'm gonna get over this wall, and you get through it, and that's where the joy comes from. That's where the happiness comes from. That feeling of accomplishment, right? You did something. You feel like you I don't know.
You're just happy.
you are. You are.
So in this joyful season, parting words for our viewing audience.
I mean, it's been a crazy year, right? But I want to encourage you, especially like all the parents out there, that the kids that are watching, find your passion. I love telling people, find your passion. Don't be afraid to work hard at it. Don't be afraid to put your whole self into it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and try to always strive to be the best that you can be. That's what my mom said. My mom always told me, I don't care what you do in life, as long as you strive to be the best at whatever it is that you want to do.
And I'm going to add in closing, and do what you love.
Yeah.
Just like you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we're going to look forward to hearing a lot more about you as the years go on.
Okay. Yeah.
Aloha. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to be with us, Roy. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
Oh, Lyla, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you.
You know, in this time of joyful season, that's my feeling about you. You bring joy wherever you go, as a teacher, as a performer. How did you get started playing ukulele?
Actually, I was probably around almost 16 years old when there was a song on the radio called Sushi. It was recorded by Ota-san, who naturally played the ukulele. And it's hard to explain, but I just was gravitated to that song so much. I just couldn't wait to hear it again on the radio every day. And one day there was a little article in the newspaper that Ota-san was giving lessons. And I had to go and visit him and ask him if he could teach me how to play the ukulele. And when he said yes, he'll take me on as a student, that was the beginning of my lifelong journey in learning how to play the ukulele and then going into teaching. And I just owe so much to Ota-san for giving me that opportunity to learn from him.
Did you own a ukulele at the time?
I had an ukulele, a cheap one, and I had tried learning from my friends when I was 12 years old and 14, but honestly, no one could teach me. They would tell me to give up because they said, Roy, you can't even strum. So they said, don't even play the ukulele. So I never played because I had no concept of rhythm. So my strum was totally erratic, you know. And what happened is that when Ota-san taught me, he taught me the musical foundation of what music is about. It wasn't about playing yet. That's what I understood. And that's how I started learning to play.
So tell us a little more about what is that musical foundation?
Well, for me, when he explained to me where the musical notes, where the notes of a music staff are played on the ukulele, and showed me some very simple chords to learn. Once I understood that and I could read the notes, I was able to now take it to a different level in learning. And it didn't matter what type of music sheet he gave me in the future after that. It could have been motion picture themes, it could be jazz, Latin. I was able to comprehend and figure it out because I realized through the years and I started teaching that there was a really definite link between math and music, you know, and that made it easy for me since the one thing that was easy for me was mathematics, you know.
So now your devotion is passing on that joy.
Oh yes, when I had the opportunity to teach, at first it was just some adults, but my passion was children. I always loved children, and so once children started coming to me, that brought me just total joy in teaching them to play, because you would see the smiles on their faces and how much they enjoyed playing. It was like it was opening a whole new world for all these children, and it's just started to grow. And as I don't know if you remember a group called the Termites, way back then, there's 4 little boys that I taught to play. We would play at the basketball games and all over. It was amazing for people to see that the ukulele was not just a rhythmic instrument, but these kids were playing songs like Hawai'i 5-0 and Tijuana Brass songs by Tijuana Taxi, and it just grew. It's amazing.
You've often talked about how the ukulele was a comfort to you growing up, so that's your empathy, I guess, with young children. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Basically, I had a rough childhood because I was struggling with so much pain in my body, you know. I was born with a small right ear, which caused a lot of problems for me because children would say, what's wrong with your ear? How come it looks small? Why are you ugly? And it hurt me so much that I couldn't go to school. Even from kindergarten, I would cut out. This lasted all through my years, through the 9th grade. And then because you feel so hurt and you feel so different, I would roam the streets and get into trouble. You know, going to juvenile court and you know, not hurting others, but hurting myself. And so I was very sad inside, but I knew how to cover it up by acting happy. But it didn't work because you can act happy during the day, but when you go to bed at night, all the sadness comes back. And it was dealing with that sadness and getting through it that opened a whole new world for me.
And how did the ukulele soothe that or give you the confidence to continue for the next day?
it really opened a world of comfort because just learning to play the ukulele would take me away from all the things that I was sad about. And it brought me much relaxation and comfort playing. And that's why I think is one reason why I practice so many hours a day. I mean, I can remember practicing morning and in the afternoon and in the evening, probably if you add it up, maybe 8 hours a day. But it brought me much comfort.
It kept you from roaming the streets.
Yes, and because of that, that's why I stopped getting into trouble. You know, because the neighborhood kids were getting in trouble, but I was always home playing my ukulele every day, and it brought me so much. It really brought me joy, comfort, and it gave me a different direction in life.
Was that some of your reasoning for starting your foundation?
Well, yes, that came later on, the Foundation Ukulele Festival Hawaii, which we started in 2004, and this is because through a dream of mine, I started the Ukulele Festival at Kapiolani Park. My dream was to always to keep it free and to get children involved. I wanted to do something where the ukulele would be focused in the hands of children and children would be the stars. And it grew and it grew. And in 2004, we started that foundation because it was getting so huge that my wife and I couldn't carry it by ourselves. We needed help. We needed help. And through the foundation, we were able to raise some funds that helped us to continue putting on the Ukulele Festival and also offer scholarships to children that were graduating from high school and now going to college and had a love for the ukulele. So it's been a blessing all around.
You know, my acquaintanceship with you started without even knowing that you wrote one of my son's very favorite songs when he was in elementary school, I Am What I Am. And that's really your signature.
Yes, it's very close to my heart because that song was also a big part of bringing me much healing. Yeah, that song. I remember too, it was probably the year 1970 when I was sitting in my backyard and still not totally feeling good about myself. I started strumming, which I never do, by the way. I'm always picking. But I just started strumming, and without realizing it, not singing, because I don't sing, I started singing the song, I Am What I Am. And it stunned and shocked me. And when I had finished singing it, I ran into the house to get a pencil and paper to write down what I had just sung, because it just grabbed me. And to think, because I already knew how to write music, I wrote it out and sent it into Library of Congress to register that song. And within, I think, 2 or 3 years, the elementary school system asked if they could put that song and teach it to all the children. And it became a very familiar song to children growing up in the 70s.
And 80s and 90s, and
yes.
even now.
Yes.
And you know, and the words, I am what I am, I'll be what I'll be. Look, can't you see that it's me, all of me? Definitely it's part of your story, but it's also the message that you have to children about playing music and ukulele being an instrument that's so portable.
Yes.
Parting words for parents who might not be musically inclined, but know that music is important for children.
I would just encourage parents to, give all children the opportunity to learn to play music, whether it's the ukulele, guitar, piano, as long as it's related to music. And one of the things that I would encourage is that, growing up in our time, everything was practice, 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 practice. But with so much that is going on with the world today, I think one of the most important messages that I share to parents is that let the children enjoy what they're learning. The enjoyment is probably the most important thing next to, you don't want perfection unless they want it. What you want them to do is enjoy it. And through that joy will come a lot of, believe it or not, I believe healing too.
And let them be who they are.
Yes, let them, I am what I am, I'll be what I'll be. Look, can't you see? Yes, that it's me. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for spending the time and reminding us, especially during this time, in this happy season, that the joy that we have in the world really comes from ourselves.
Thank you for having me here. It's been a wonderful time spending with you. Thank you.
We so appreciate you being on our program today, Kimo. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, Lyla, you know, that goes both ways. I appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
You know, your consistent message that the ukulele is more than an instrument needs to be shared with our audience. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. I mean, especially to people in Hawaii, you know, the ukulele is very special. But what makes this instrument very, very special is that it goes much beyond itself as an instrument. Ukulele is a catalyst. Ukulele is not the end, it is the means to the end. And the wonderful thing about creating the end is that it depends on the person. You know, if a person wants to learn to play the ukulele just so that he or she could enjoy making their own music, that's fine. If a person enjoys ukulele just because it provides opportunity to participate in the process of making music, that's fine. If a person wants to learn and experience ukulele as a form of entertainment or being an entertainment, that's fine. And so there's so many different ways that ukulele can have and create a very, very meaningful relationship with people by using the principles of music.
You've mentioned in the past, I've heard you speak, about how many people think when they pick up an instrument, even the ukulele, it is to become a performer. But you do much more with the community.
The reason why a lot of people do not pick up a musical instrument, including ukulele, sometimes is that there's too much of an association with entertainment and being an entertainer, or the reason why you're going to try and learn to play an instrument is for an academic reason. And all of that is okay, but it goes beyond that. One of the most important aspects of ukulele that you allude to has to do with my mind in community service. Probably the most important thing to learn about ukulele, and it's something that we in Hawaii have a lot of empathy for, and that is to take those things about kanikapila that are right. In kanikapila, proficiency means nothing. You know, the idea in kanikapila is not to be the world's best ukulele player. The idea in kanikapila is simply to enjoy the process.
So explain a little bit more kanikapila for those who may not be Hawaiian speakers.
Kanikapila, in my mind, and it's ingrained in me because I'm from Hawaii, is really the term kanikapila just refers to a jam session.
Getting together, having fun, playing music, dancing hula.
And growing up in Hawaii, I would say that a huge majority of people in Hawaii learn about music through kanikapila. And so when I was very young, and still today, it was so simple and easy and accepted for friends or family to come over, and as a result of that, just to enjoy music. Because one of the things about kanikapila, like I said, is that proficiency means nothing.
Music and being together, which is the
everything.
essence of who we are.
And when that is right in kanikapila, you don't have to be the actual person playing the instrument in order to enjoy it. This is the reason why when you go to a kanikapila session, there are a lot of people there who aren't even playing an instrument, who don't know how to play an instrument, but they enjoy the process very much.
So in the guild that you
The Ukulele Guild.
the
right.
Ukulele Guild that you've created, what goes on there?
The Ukulele Guild of Hawaii was started about a little over 20 years ago by a local boy by the name of Mike Chalk, who had a very, very high interest in building ukulele. And so that's the reason why he started the guild, to gather his friends and whoever was interested in learning to build ukulele to come together and be involved in this common activity. As that activity grew, it began to attract players like me. I don't build, and I cannot build an instrument.
Did the builder play music?
Some of them do. Most builders of ukuleles don't play very well. A lot of builders of ukulele don't play at all. So now, if you get players involved in ukulele, players, there are a gazillion players who don't know how to build an ukulele, and yet by getting together and combining both the passion of building and the passion of playing, and promoting collaboration between the builder and player, is just a wonderful thing. And you know what? The best thing is it's a lot of fun.
Well, and I would also venture to guess that the word ohana, family connection, that connectivity with
Right.
one another, regardless of whether you're playing or making or observing,
Right.
is part of the essence of your ukulele guild.
Absolutely, and that's Lyla. That's very important, because the essence that you're talking about is an emotion. And one of the things ukulele instructors try to do with their students is to show them and permit them and recommend that they put emotion into their music. Absent emotion, the kind of essence that you're talking about just doesn't exist.
Well, and if emotion means the person,
Yeah.
the energy, the mana of the person. In closing our conversation for today, what message might you give to the viewing audience? You know, the ukulele is an icon for Hawaii.
Right.
It is symbolic of who we are.
Right. Open your mind and open your heart to what ukulele is. And in my estimation and my recommendation to people is that they look at ukulele as an opportunity to do what? To have fun, to learn to play, to participate readily in the process of making music, to participate actively in community service, in sharing ukulele, because local people, when it comes to ukulele, love to share. And if this instrument is such a wonderful thing, why not we share? So again, I would say to you and your audience, I think the most important thing about ukulele is, again, open your heart, open your mind, and let ukulele in to tell you about all of the opportunities that it can do to help you have more fun.
I was just going to say the same thing, that perhaps it's about being who we are,
Absolutely.
in the presence of an ukulele, in presence of others, and really enjoying life,
Yeah.
enjoying not just the season,
Yeah,
but enjoying one another and oneself.
absolutely. Being an integral part of music, one of the wonderful things that ukulele and music do is to encourage and create harmony. What a wonderful, wonderful thing to transfer, to people who listen, to people who play, to anybody. And that's why ukulele is just a wonderful catalyst.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your aloha.
Thank you. I love to share ukulele.
And all the new thoughts, the learning that we can also
Cool.
acquire or get from playing ukulele,
Sure
being with
can.
the ukulele.
Sure can.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Mahalo for joining us on Island Focus. I'm Lyla Berg. On behalf of the Island Focus crew and all of the staff at Ōlelo Community Media, aloha and malama pono. Happy holidays.